Good evening, peeps. This is Ariel Grace from A Gang of Girls Radio, author of I'm Psychic, Not Telepathic. And so tonight we're going to be talking about some paranormal stuff. It is, we've got like a paranormal place that we're going to check out. And then we're going to talk about some haunted objects. Yeah, because I have a lot of people have asked me about haunted objects, and they do exist. I mean, they're kind of icky, but hey. So hey everybody, hey Courtney, Sammy, Mary, Jacqueline, hey Rebecca. All right, hey Miss Mary Bowberry. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, how to protect yourself, things like that too. It'll be very fun for you. It will. But first, I've got some announcements to make because, I make them out all the time. So everybody settle down, get your drink, your popcorn, whatever it is that you need to get before we get started. All right, so for those of you who want a psychic medium reading, because I'm not a psychic medium, really, you can check out my bro, Psychic Theo, at psychictheo.com. Okay? Hi, Di. All right, and then for those of you who want an astrology consult, check out Rockin' Reverend Rhonda at karmiclaw.com. Penny? All right. For those of you who want a cord cutting ceremony, check out Melinda Carver here on Facebook and sign up or make an appointment for a cord cutting ceremony. She's awesome. She is. All right. So next week or this coming Friday is $50 Friday. So if you want a reading, please make sure to book with me. I've got I think mostly I have morning appointments right now available. I might have an afternoon one. So you can check that out. It's $50 Fridays, so it's $50 for 45 minutes. You can email me at agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. And then the November special will start. I do it every year. And it's $60 for 45 minutes all month. There you go. It'll be very fun for you. And me too. All right. So talking about haunted stuff, my book, Haunted, A Psychic Story, is going to be on sale for the Kindle edition from $10.24 to $10.31. It's going to be 99 cents. All right. So for those of you who have Kindles and you wanted to read the book, there you go. So it goes on sale, I think it's next Saturday. Yeah, next Saturday. So check that out. And please remember to review. They help so freaking much. They really do. All right. So a couple of you have asked to see the Mother Mary necklaces. Okay, because I don't know, you don't know what, you can't tell what they look like in the picture. So this is what they look like. This is the back of it. And it has a picture of her and some children. I'm sorry, it's wiggling. I can't get it to stop. And then this is the front. Oops, this is the front of it. So, it's lead and nickel free pewter. All right, and so is the chain. For those of you who are allergic to lead or nickel. All right, so that's what they look like. They're about 18 to 20 inches long or so. And they're pretty. They have rose quartz on them. So that's what they look like. This is the Kuan Yin. And she is the same. She's lead and nickel free. So, there she is. And she has a aventurine on her. And the chain length is between 18 and 20 inches as well. All right, so now you've seen them. you can go look on arielgrace.net, hit the Sacred Tools tab and scroll down because there's a bunch of stuff up there. Okay? All right. So, I asked you all if you wanted me to check out some places that are haunted and look into them and stuff. I spent a lot of time researching this place today. I have another place next week too. So if you want me to research a place and give my opinion about it, send me an email at agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com with the name of the place, where it is, so it's easier for me to research. So, and that way I'll look it up and I'll look and see what's there and the history of it and that, because I like looking at the history of different places. I do. And I'm not going to be going to Berlin, Wisconsin anytime soon. But this place is in Berlin, Wisconsin, and I thought it was interesting. Berlin, Wisconsin, it's like on the Fox River. So for several miles, the Fox River is close to it, and it's founded in 1847 by Nathan Strong. Its natural resources and location on the river contributed to its rapid growth. It grew pretty rapidly. Strong and his colleagues were part of the Fourier movement located in the city of Ripon. So they weren't happy with the movement, so they decided to strike out on their own and establish a new settlement. And by 1850, there were 250 residents, most coming from New England states. At that time, only land on the east side of the river was available. The west side was still Indian country. The Indians ceded their claim in late 1850, and it was open for settlement. The railroad came in 1857, opening another avenue for travelers for residents. In that same year, the city was incorporated. Okay, so there's key things here on what I've just read. And I bet some of you already know, like, what they are, right? So one of the things is that they were on the east side. The settlers were on the east side of the river, the Fox River. The west side was Indian territory. And in 1850, that's when they laid their claim. And around that time, the Indians also gave up their property or their land for these people running in here, taking up all the space. So there gives you a little hint right there about what could be going on at this tannery. Okay, so you could check out more history of Berlin at Berlin Area Historical Society.com and hit the history thing. The other thing that gave it away for me too was that it's the Wisconsin Granite Company is there, and within granite is quartz crystal. And what is quartz crystal? It's an amplifier. The Fox River is right there. And so that also is an amplifier. So a lot of times, if you get like limestone or quartz or something like that type of mineral, some kind of amplifier, it's going to be haunted. And it just gets even more so because, it's all amplified and everything. So, the Indians that were up there, it looks like they were the Crow, the Sioux, and Blackfoot. Now, there might have been other tribes. I didn't really look that closely into it. But there was in this, and from what I understand from the research I did, like the whole town has crazy stuff happening in it. Like there's there's haunted stuff going on all over the place there. But the person, Di, asked me to look up the tannery. And so I did. I looked up the tannery. And so what is a tannery? It's a place where they used to take like animals and furs, animals that are connected to furs or leather, things like that. That's what they worked on there. And so back in the day, like they actually killed so many beaver that they thought that the beaver might be, they might lose the beavers because they were killing them for their hats. And yeah, beavers make good hats. But they killed so many of them, they were hard, they're getting hard to find. And the beavers were probably getting smart and going, we can't be hanging around here. So, but the tannery is there. And it was used for, as I said, making, cleaning up furs and cleaning up and making leather and things like that. And it's kind of a wreck right now. It really is. I think it was moved too. As I was looking at the history of it and looking at it, there was somebody that said that there was like an open vortex in the tannery, and I don't think that's likely. I do feel like there's some, there's some spirits up there. That don't want anybody up there. It's been kind of derelict for a while, and so any spirit that's gonna like scratch you or push you or choke you or something like that, they're using up a lot of energy, and obviously they don't want you there, so don't go. that's all. That's all I got to say about it. But it looks like too that it's not just haunted from, that it looks like there's a variety of people in there, and it looks like new people, old people, historical people. Also, I feel like there might be a couple Native Americans in there, like wreaking havoc. Because when you have a place like that, like attracts like, right? So they're going to all kind of congregate, and they do that. Like they'll congregate in a place where there's a bunch of spirits, and they won't really have anything to do with the tannery at all. They just like it there because there's other spirits there, especially intelligent spirits. Intelligence. When we talk about intelligent spirits, that means that you can actually have a conversation with them if they'll cooperate. So they'll all kind of hang out together. They may not talk to each other, but they'll be aware of each other. And so, it seems like that's what's going on there too, is that there is a lot of intelligent stuff going on. There's a lot of residual energy going on. And the residual energy is that energy that things that just happened over and over again with the knocking and the banging and things like that. That's probably the noises that were heard when the tannery was going on. A lot of banging and stuff and hissing, things like that. Those are all probably noises that just came from working in there. The historical society will always, if there is a historical society, they will always help you, and they probably have a lot of really cool records there too, and legends and other stories there about the place. So usually that's the first place I go to, is a historical society in any place that I'm going to be researching, because I want to check it out. Usually it takes a while of searching, because you got to put in the your special words, whatever words they are that they're using, so that you can figure out what you're looking for. But look at the historical society, because they'll give you a lot of handy tips and tricks about like what could be going on in your area if it's haunted. And in that area, it does look like there was a lot of Native American activity, and there may even have been like some sacred places for them there. And so now those sacred places, the energy might still exist, but maybe the place doesn't, So So you may want to check that out more. But it does look like, yeah, it's haunted. And no, I wouldn't go there. And it's just because, like, I don't, I don't feel like there's anything really to learn there. So that's why I wouldn't go there. If you want an experience, go to the Tannery. I think that they do actually do tours there, like paranormal tours and stuff. And so make sure that you bring a flashlight and wear good shoes, though. It doesn't look like it's a very, I don't know, safe place to go. So, and if you're going to go, remember always, if you're going to go investigate, never go investigate on your own. Always go with someone because you never know what's there if you've never been there, and you don't know what the property is like how derelict it is. Okay, you don't want to hurt yourself and not be able to get off the property. It's happened, so don't let that happen to you. The way you could get rid of some of that mess there, and it is a mess, you can put salt down, and also if a Native American shaman is available and they want to clear the place, that would be my go-to person. There's a lot of that type of energy in that place. And like I said, a spirit has got to be pretty annoyed, angry, frustrated, and that to like push enough to hurt you. And who wants to go on a paranormal investigation where you're going to get hurt? Oh, some people are weird. They're all for it because they're thrill seekers or whatever. Yeah, I don't need that. You probably don't either. You don't need that type of proof in order to know that there are beings on the planet that are outside of what we would normally see, hear, feel, or touch, unless we are focusing on it, right? So it's better to have a more positive experience than be scared. And that doesn't look like it's a positive experience place. Yeah. All right, so that's Berlin, Wisconsin. The town looks absolutely gorgeous. It's really pretty. If you just want to go and tour it and just see it, it's really a very beautiful place. But stop at the Historical Society and stop at the museum too and see what you can learn about the different urban legends about Berlin, Wisconsin. All right. Okay, so yeah, good for you, Jacqueline. All right. Yeah, you don't want to bring them home. Definitely don't want to bring them home. And I don't think these ones would leave anyway, so it's okay. I don't think they would leave. They're having too much fun, like terrorizing other people. All right, so and as I said, make sure that you bring like a partner, a flashlight, have a little first aid box in your car or something just in case you get a boo-boo. And make sure that you bring plenty of water in that for just in cases. And snacks, because you never know when you need a cookie. All right. Okay, so I have, there is a great page on Facebook. It's called the Paranormal Help Desk. And Tori runs it, and she is awesome. So if you need any kind of paranormal, whatever, all you have to do is get a hold of Tori, and she will direct you. She's awesome. I've used her before to figure out things, and she can figure out things pretty darn quickly. So go over there and like that page, the Paranormal Help Desk. Okay? And you'll see a lot of really cool posts in there. And like I said, Tori's really awesome, and when she can help people, she will. If she can't help you, she'll refer you to somebody who can. All right? Okay. So, talking about the Paranormal Help Desk. Okay. So, there's some people that, they go to auctions, and specifically they go to auctions to buy haunted objects. or they'll go to an auction and they'll think something's really pretty and they'll buy it and not thinking about like what might be attached to it. And then they bring it home. And then it's a mess. So like I have a couple of people that have called me because they knew what they were buying before they even got it home. They knew. And I was like, why did you buy that? Like you saw the history of it? Oh, I thought I could store it in my house and it would be really cool. I'm like, no. So if you go to auctions, you can, look at the stuff if you're curious about it. You can look at it and just kind of check it out and stuff. Both of these people, when they got their objects home, one was a really large object and one was a smaller object. Both of them, when they got them home, they started having like heart issues, like they couldn't breathe. They lost their jobs. Their families like broke up. Like all kinds of crazy stuff happened to them. And so they're just like, well, what do I do? And with both of them, I was just like, you need to, like, first of all, get rid of the thing. And second, you need like somebody to go in there and just like clear you and clear your home and maybe move. I don't know. But they weren't willing to give up their objects. So I connected them with a friend of mine, Keith Linder. Keith Linder lives in Seattle, Washington, and he lived in a house that was extremely haunted. And he lived there for a while because he was trying to figure out how to like clear it, how to clear this house, because he didn't want somebody to move into the house after him that would have children or something. So he knows a little bit about, actually a lot, about this kind of stuff. And so he was able to like talk to them and I don't know if he actually was able to help them, but at least they had somebody to talk to about it. So, there really are such things as haunted objects. And I'll give you an example of one. Let's see, I wrote it down here. If I go to your house, or if you see me out and about somewhere or whatever, I usually don't touch things. I keep my hands to myself and my pockets are behind my back. So I don't touch things. So if anybody's ever been with me when I'm out and about, doing my thing, you'll notice that if you hand something to me, I might not like take it from you. I'll just look at it. And I learned that lesson a while back ago. I actually did pick up a haunted object. I wasn't thinking. And I picked up a baby doll. And she was, there was definitely something attached to that baby doll. And I ended up taking the baby doll, putting it in a box with salt and rose petals, and taking it out to the forest, digging a deep hole, and burying it in the forest. That's what I did for the baby doll. Because nobody should have that, or like nobody should have to deal with that. So, and I felt like that is a good place for it because it could like get clear, it could be in the ground and it can like get clear in the ground. And that way no child also could get to it. And at that time, I didn't know that there were places that you can actually send haunted objects to. And there are. So Ed and Lorraine Warren, I think they were the first people to start a haunted museum. And they did. They have a museum tomorrow or the next day, I'll do a blog, and I'm going to have addresses for about, I think, 10 different museums all over the United States. There are a lot of museums around the world, but I picked these museums in the United States because they're kind of like, in different areas in case you do pick up something, you need to get rid of it. So, and what Ed and Lorraine used to do was if somebody had something that was, it was scary, and they called them, Ed and Lorraine would go and pick it up. They would go investigate it. They'd look at it. They'd test it. They'd talk to the person and stuff, and then they would pick it up and take it home. And there is a famous object that you probably have heard of, the Annabelle doll. She looks like a Raggedy Ann doll. She has a yarn hair, and she's a cloth doll, right? So she, I think she was owned by a nurse, and the nurse got her from like her mom, and her mom had picked her up at a yard sale or something. Anyway, so like this nurse had the Annabelle doll, and so she thought it was a doll, so she put it in her bedroom and like on her bed, right? Well, at first, like she would come home and the doll would be like rolled over or something, and she noticed that like the doll would be in a different position than what she would have put it in when she made her bed. And then she noticed that there was like torn up pieces of paper everywhere. And then some other things were happening, like weird, crazy things were happening. And she found Ed and Lorraine, and they came down to look at the doll. Yeah. So they're like, oh, all right. So they saw that the doll, they felt, and Lorraine was psychic. And so she was just like, oh, wow. And so they packed the doll up nicely, and they put it in the trunk of their car to drive it back to Connecticut, because that's where the museum is. On the way to Connecticut, their car stopped working twice, and they could hear banging in the trunk of the car, like somebody banging in the trunk. And so needless to say, Annabelle has a special box, a special acrylic box that she is locked down in. She has like guards all around the box. And so like she can't get out. Now she did actually get out of her box at one point. I can't remember what they were investigating, but she got out and she wreaked havoc in the museum. And so then they had to put extra security on her box. You can go to Ed and Lorraine's museum. He's passed on. He was a sweetie. He's passed on since then. The Warren's Occult Museum is in Connecticut, and it is open to the public. Please respect their rules about going into that museum, because if you ever look it up, you can look it up on YouTube, I think. And there's some scary stuff in there with some scary stories. And they have a priest come down, I think once a month, and he does his priestly juju thing to the museum to make sure that nothing gets out. Okay, it's pretty serious. And I know I call it juju. Everybody's like, oh, you're making fun of the priest. I'm not making fun of the priest. They have special juju. Special. And so they can go through and like bless a place, and they can fix it to where things like that can't get loose. Okay. So I actually think that their nephew is taking care of it now. Yeah. I think his name is John. And so, but you can go up and check it out. Please follow the rules. though. Don't touch anything. Stay on the path, like the yellow brick road. Think of it like that. Stay on the path. Don't wander off the path. Okay, so I know that they had it in their basement for a while. I'm not sure if it's in the basement anymore. Okay, so you want to make sure, like, something like that happens to you. The first thing you do is call a priest. Have them come over and check it out, or bring it to the church, so that they can look at it and investigate it. If you don't want to go to a priest, have a paranormal team that specializes in haunted objects. Not just any old paranormal team. That's where Tori at the Paranormal Help Desk can help you. She can help you out with that. She can help you find a team that specializes in that kind of stuff. And that way you can get it to where it needs to go. All right? Don't keep it in your house. Okay. Just like they figured out what to do with the Hope Diamond, because everyone that owned the Hope Diamond died, committed suicide, their families fell apart, they lost all their money. All this crazy stuff happened with the Hope Diamond. So now nobody really owns a Hope Diamond, but I believe that it is on display at the Smithsonian Institute right now on loan. So not a person owns the diamond at all. Only, I'm not sure who does, but I think it's on loan at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. There's another diamond, too, that only can be worn by a woman. And it's one of the larger diamonds. I can't remember the name of it, but it can only be worn by a woman. That's it. If it's worn by a man, all kinds of devastating things can happen to that man. So, pay attention to, like, the curses and the haunting of the object. Okay? Because there's some things that really, like Zach Bagans, he has a museum in Vegas, and you have to do a tour with them. Like, you can't just go in. It's not open to the public. You have to purchase tickets, and you have to go on a tour. And they always have, like, somebody on call. Like, they always have, like, a priest on call, or they have somebody there to help you if you're not feeling well after going through the museum, or even if you only make it halfway there or through there or whatever. So they have somebody there to assist you. That's how serious this is. I cannot be serious. I know I'm smiling, but I cannot express how serious it is for you to be aware of what you pick up, aware of what you're buying, and that, because you don't want to bring that home. Okay? Nope. So there are haunted museums everywhere, and if there isn't one in your area, a lot of times a haunted museum will come and pick it up, or they'll have, like, a delivery service come and get it. They'll tell you what to do with it, and then the delivery service will do their thing with it, and then they'll take it. Okay, so a lot of times you don't even have to, like, take it to them. They'll come pick it up, because they're going to want to make sure before it gets to their museum that it's kind of locked down. Okay, so that's something that is kind of cool about the museums. You may want to check with the museum and see what type of haunted museum it is too, because there are different types of haunted museums. Like there's one in Philadelphia, and it is a haunted museum that deals with, like, diseases. So it's all about diseases, but it has haunted objects that pertain to diseases. And then there's that's the Mutter Museum. And then there's a Museum of Death. What do you think that's about? That one's in Hollywood, and I think they just opened one in New Orleans. And it's got all of, like, these, like, knives and things that have created death. So so make sure that the museum that you're calling to is going to want your object. But the best one to call, I would say, would be the Warrens Occult Museum, because they have so many different things in there. It's all like a lot of different things. They're not theme oriented. Okay? Okay, so if you're going on a paranormal investigation, don't pick up anything in there. Don't touch anything in there. Just, keep your hands to yourself and, take a walk through, go on the investigation or go on the tour or whatever. Don't pick anything up. Okay? Yeah. So, the pest house in Lynchburg. The pest house in Lynchburg is a very scary place. My mom just reminded me of that place. I didn't even go in the place. I could feel the pest house from a block away. I was teaching my brother how to drive, and he was just driving around, and I kept telling him, I think you need to turn around, you need to turn around, you need to turn around. And we came up on the pest house. And the pest house is a place where they used to take people during the Civil War to, like, if they had tuberculosis or, some kind of pestilence. And they'd put them in the house, and the doc would come by once a week to make sure that, to take the dead people out and, I don't know, do whatever they did, and then leave and lock the house up and leave everybody, all the sick people in the house. So it is a very icky place. And I think it's like a museum now. And so you can go in and you can look at all their implements of medical torture or whatever. Places like that, like, really don't touch anything. Typhoid, yeah. Yeah, so make sure, like, when you go to places, hands to yourself or in your pockets or behind your back or whatever, okay? All right, and then I'm going to, I will blog, and I'll put the addresses in that of the different museums in the blog, so that you can look up the museums and see what they have in there. I'll be honest, I started looking at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Vegas. There's a video from a couple years ago. He picked up this haunted box, and I can't remember what it was called, but it's got something icky nasty in it. And I was like, they were doing like this fancy, like, oh, we've got the box and we're gonna show it off and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I gotta stop the video. And I did stop the video, and I actually just shut down Safari. Look at you. So, if you see something in the videos and stuff and it freaks you out, just turn it off. It's okay. If you're curious. All right. So if you have a haunted place that you would like me to look up and just see about it, see what I think about it, let me know. You can email it to me at agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. It is October. And so, the veils are thin right now. So I hope you're practicing, I hope you're practicing like the automatic writing meditation, especially because that automatic writing meditation, the stronger your connection to your spirit guides and angels, the better, and it will assist you. Also during this time period, because the veils are thin between, I guess some heaven and earth or other dimensions, you'll be able to hear, see, feel them more. The connectivity will be better. And the more you practice with it, the more confident you get. The more confident you are, then after the veils start to thicken up again and you're still practicing, you feel good about it and you continue. Okay? So practice that. And I think we have 2 more weeks of paranormal talk. So if you have any questions or any concerns or anything, let me know in the comments. And I'll get back to them, because I check the comments throughout the week, because I pin all the videos up to the top of the page, right? So that you can watch it. For those of you who want to rewatch it again and somehow can't find the video on Facebook, excuse me, You can always look me up on YouTube and just look me up. Just look up Ariel Grace, and all of the Facebook Live videos are there. You can check them out. Okay, so I have no idea what we'll be looking at next week, but we'll figure it out. Okay? All right, so everyone have a wonderful week, and remember to keep your hearts open and align with the energy of love. I'll see you next week. Good night.